Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of Shakespeare's most epic and darkest tragedies, King Lear. It's a story all about how a king, a guy with absolute power, can just lose it all. And it all starts with one catastrophic mistake. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How does that even happen? Well, in this explainer, we're going to walk through it step by painful step to answer that exact question. And believe me, it all kicks off with one single fateful decision. All right, part one. So, picture this. You've got King Lear, he's old, he's tired of being the king, and he's basically ready to hang it up. His big plan? Retire, split the kingdom between his three daughters, and just relax. Sounds pretty simple, right? He's hoping for a nice, peaceful retirement. Spoiler alert, that is not what he gets. But here's the catch. Lear's ego is, well, it's pretty big. He doesn't just want to give them the land. He needs a performance. So he comes up with this, frankly, terrible idea for a public test. The deal is, whoever can say they love him the most gets the biggest piece of the pie. It's not about who actually loves him, but who can put on the best show. And of course, his two oldest daughters, Goneril and Regan, they totally go for it. They lay it on thick with these super flattering, over-the-top speeches. But then it's Cordelia's turn. She's the youngest, his favorite, and she sees right through this whole charade. She knows it's not about love, it's about flattery. So what does she say? She refuses to play the game. Her answer? Nothing. And Lear just loses it. He is furious at her honesty. And that's when he says it, those famous, fateful words. Nothing will come of nothing. Just like that, he completely disowns his favorite daughter. So look at the damage from this one outburst. Cordelia's gone, married off with no dowry. His most loyal advisor, Kent, who tried to defend her, banished. And the whole kingdom is handed over to the two daughters who just lied to his face. In one single moment of pure rage, Lear gets it completely backward. He thinks silence is hate and flattery is love. And that one mistake, that's what's going to cost him absolutely everything. Okay, part two. Now, you'd think things couldn't get worse, but oh, they do. The second Lear gives up his power, the whole kingdom starts to fall apart. And we're going to see this unfold in two nasty parallel plots of betrayal. And the betrayal starts, immediately. Lear goes to stay with his daughter Goneril, and right away she starts complaining that his 100 knights are basically trashing the place. And she doesn't just complain, no, she demands he get rid of half of them. This is the first step in just completely dismantling his dignity and power. At the very same time, we've got this mirror story of betrayal happening. There's this nobleman Gloucester and his illegitimate son, Edmund, who is just seething with resentment. So what does he do? He fakes a letter to make it look like his legitimate brother, Edgar, is a traitor. And just like Lear, Gloucester completely falls for it. He's totally blind to the lie and disowns his good, loyal son. So Lear, furious with Goneril, storms off to his other daughter, Regan's castle, expecting her to take his side. But guess who's already there? Goneril. Yeah. Instead of finding an ally, he finds his two daughters have formed a united front against him. And what they do next is just cruel. They basically start this twisted negotiation over his last bit of dignity, his knights. Regan says 50 is way too many. How about 25? Then Goneril jumps in. What does he need even 5 for? They just keep haggling him down, stripping away everything, until their final offer is 0. Nothing. They leave their own father with absolutely nothing. Part 3. Okay, so what do you do when you've been betrayed by everyone and you have nothing left? Well, if you're Lear, you run out into the middle of a massive, violent storm. And as the storm rages outside, another one starts raging inside his mind. This is where his sanity really starts to break. Out there on this stormy heath, he stumbles across this character called Poor Tom. Now, Poor Tom is actually Edgar, the guy who was framed by his brother, and he's disguised as a homeless mad beggar. And for the first time, now that he has nothing, Lear actually feels empathy for someone like this, for the poorest of the poor. He looks at Tom and sees himself, a man completely destroyed. So while Lear is out there losing his mind in the storm, that other plot, the one with Gloucester and his sons, it's about to reach its own horrific climax. Remember Gloucester, the guy who disowned the wrong son? Well, he gets caught trying to help Lear escape. And for this act of loyalty, Regan and her husband, they blind him. They literally gouge his eyes out. It's only in that moment of absolute agony that he finally sees the truth, because they tell him, mockingly, that it was Edmund who betrayed him all along. Okay, part 4. Now, everything seems just about as dark and brutal as it can get. But just when you think all hope is lost, a little glimmer of light appears. And it's coming from across the sea. It's Cordelia. She's back. Now the Queen of France, she has landed with an entire army, and she is here to save her father and set things right. And this scene, this is really the heart of the whole play. Lear wakes up in the French camp, and for a moment, his madness is gone. He sees Cordelia, and he knows who she is. And in this incredibly clear, heartbreaking moment, he just begs for her forgiveness. And they do. They reconcile. Part 5. But you know this is a tragedy, right? So that moment of peace, it can't last. The final battle is coming, and it's going to decide everything. And the ending is swift, brutal, and absolute. So, the battle happens. The British army, led by none other than the villain Edmund, wins. The French army is defeated, and Lear and Cordelia, they're captured. And the first thing Edmund does is secretly order a captain to kill Cordelia and make it look like she took her own life. And from there, it's just this insane, devastating domino effect of death. Goneril and Regan, who both want Edmund, turn on each other. Goneril poisons Regan and then kills herself. Edgar finally gets his revenge and kills Edmund in a duel. But it's too late. The last thing we see is Lear walking in, holding Cordelia's body, and then he just dies. His heart literally breaks. And in the end, what's left? 0. That's how many of Lear's children are still alive. His one single rash decision completely wiped out his entire family. The story just leaves us with wreckage. The kingdom is in ruins. And it leaves us with this really big, haunting question. In a world like this, where being honest gets you punished and being cruel gets you a kingdom, what does justice even mean? What's left when it completely fails?